Hello. Well, our time of talking about ideas today is around Lent. Well, Lent. Learning each new thing. Lent is a time of 40 days in the Bible story of Jesus, where for 40 days, when Jesus was getting ready to start his ministry, he went off into the desert before he got started. When he was baptized, John the Baptist baptized him, and then he went off into the desert and he sat down. Well, maybe he sat down. I think some of the stories talk about him sitting down. Maybe he just was there. And for 40 days he was tested. He said, or tempted. And the story in the Bible says, oh, he was in the desert for 40 days and the tempter came to him. So in the Bible they talk about this as maybe the devil. And the devil came to him and said, make a bad decision. And Jesus said, well, I hear you're inviting me to make a bad decision, but I'll make a good decision. And so the devil said, okay. And he went away. And then the devil come by again. Said, make a bad decision. And Jesus said, no, thank you. But being out for 40 days was a long time. And so he sat there and he was very hungry. And the devil came to him again and said, make a bad decision. And Jesus said, no, thank you. And he says, go on your way. And so the devil goes on his way. So the story talks about Jesus being out in the devil and being out in the desert and being tempted. What the story doesn't really talk about is that during the beginning and during the middle and during the end of the time, that God was with him here too. Hi, I'm God, whatever the bearded picture of God is. That in the beginning and the middle and the ending of those 40 days, God was with Jesus too. So if there's something we're trying to do, either for Lent or whatever, if we're trying to learn to play the piano, or if we're trying to change something for Lent, either some people try and say, oh, I'm not going to drink much coffee for Lent, or they say I want to read more books for Lent, or I want to exercise for Lent, or whatever. Just like God was there helping Jesus to get things done or to make a change, God is there with us as we're trying to make things, whatever we do for Lent or whatever we do in our lives, if we're trying to make things different, if we're trying to stop one thing, like stop eating something that we don't want to eat, or start something like exercise, or how we want to be in touch with people, or say somebody wants to spend less time on Facebook, or spend more time working in their garden. People make all kinds of changes over Lent, those 40 days. Nobody expects you to be perfect at it, and nobody expects you to be able to do it really well the first time, and nobody expects you to have it be easy. These are things that take a long time and take lots of practice. So, God is there with us in times when we're tested and tempted, even when it feels like there's trouble, and even when it feels like we're alone, we're not. God is there with us. So that's good news. All right. So that's our story for Lent. I hope you have a good 40 days of Lent. And remember that God is with us.